Flying Cobras at Carowinds is by far the greatest boomerang I have ever ridden, and I've been on a handful of them. The major difference for this ride experience compared to other boomerang ride experiences are the trains. Flying Cobras has these updated vests, and they are a total blessing because some of the biggest issues with traditional boomerangs are headbanging with those hard plastic over the shoulder restraints. It's not a great combination with the older Vekoma track style and some of those janky transitions, especially in that Cobra roll. Before we get started, please leave a comment down below, please like this video, and please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I am a pretty small theme park channel and I would greatly appreciate your support. Thank you so much. So let's dig into this layout for Flying Cobras. Obviously, it's the same as any other boomerang. You're going to start with a backwards lift into one of the spikes. It's a pretty long and slow climb up there, and when you're facing the ground, it's kind of crazy, like feeling that drop angle that you're about to experience before you're actually dropping. And obviously, when you're going up backwards, you can't see the top, so you don't know when it's going to release you into the layout, which does build anticipation. Obviously, the height is more intimidating if you sit in the back of the train because you're higher up off of the ground and the drop is further down. And obviously the reverse is true for later in the layout. If you sit in the front, you're going to be higher off the ground than in the back. So you'll have a longer and taller backwards drop in the front, and you'll have a longer and taller forwards facing drop if you sit in the back of the train. So that drop on any boomerang is really fun. You might get some butterflies in your stomach, some light weightlessness, but obviously the boomerang ride experience is not about airtime or about drops. It is about positive g-force and inversions. So you're gonna fly through the station. One thing that was interesting about Flying Cobras is when they were cycling a train, they would not line up guests right along the gates like they would for any other boomerang that I've experienced. I don't know if that's like a safety issue. I don't know if it's a state issue. I believe this attraction is located in South Carolina, so maybe it's a South Carolina thing. Just kind of funny. I don't know if it's a park thing, a corporate thing. This is the last boomerang that I experienced in the Cedar Fair chain, which is now Six Flags. So I don't know if this is going to be a company-wide thing, because when I rode boomerang at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, they were allowing you to line up at the gates as of my last ride. Anyway, back to the ride experience. You're gonna fly through the station and up into the Cobra roll. I was able to ride Flying Cobras in the front row and in the back row, which are the best seats on any roller coaster. And overall, these three inversions on any boomerang are very forceful. The Cobra roll did kind of have a brutal transition in between the two inversions. It was like violently jerking you to the right through the Cobra roll corkscrew. Especially through the first pass. It wasn't as bad through the backwards pass, so that was very noticeable. But other than that, it was fine, and obviously the vest restraints help with that a lot because you don't headbang, so it is very comfortable. And then the vertical loop is very tight and very forceful. That being said, it's going to be a lot less forceful on the forwards pass through than on the backwards pass through. You do get a bit of a breather when the train reaches the top of the second spike, because it's gonna pull you up even further, so you have enough speed to go back through that same layout. So that is pretty cool. And obviously this ride experience is so intense that you kind of need that breather. It's pretty important. As I said, in the front, you're gonna have a longer backwards drop, and in the front row, going backwards into the vertical loop is very intense. It's by far the most intense moment on this roller coaster in any of the seats. So I recommend trying this ride in the front so you can feel those insane forces going backwards through the vertical loop. I'm used to Montezuma's Revenge at Knott's Berry Farm, which is I don't even know what's happening with that ride. I have a whole video right here complaining about what Knott's Berry Farm is doing with Montezuma. But the backwards loop on Montezuma wasn't that forceful because at that point in the ride, you had burned off a good chunk of speed because the spike on Montezuma did not pull you up the spike all the way to the top like these boomerangs. So even in the front of Montezuma, it wasn't that forceful just because of the lack of speed. And that's even with the more circular Schwarzkopf loop compared to these teardrop shaped Vekoma boomerang loops. So that's really impressive on Flying Cobras and any other boomerang. And then you're going to whip backwards through the same Cobra roll. As I said, the transition was not as bad from my experience. And then you'll hit the final brake run, which is technically in this station. Because you have so much speed, you're going to go up the first spike a little bit before you park and reach a full stop. Some other aspects I want to talk about for Flying Cobras are the vest restraints. They're pretty tight. It did bother me a little bit in the station, but on the ride experience, I was distracted. I didn't really care for it. It didn't bother me, I should say. I did care for it because obviously it made the headbanging and the transitions much more bearable, which is why this is by far my favorite boomerang. On top of that, the theming and the aesthetic is really cool. I love the paint on the trains. I like how each car is a different color, so it looks really cool. The blue track and the white supports is also really well done. I'm not really a fan of the Flying Cobra's name. Like, it sounds kind of stupid. Like, it used to be called Carolina Cobras, which tied into the park Carowinds because it's on the border between North and South Carolina, and a lot of other attractions in the park tie into the Carolina Pride stuff. So it's kind of sad that Flying Cobras is no longer part of that collection of rides, but I do understand that it's themed to like stunt pilots, and that's what they are, the Flying Cobras, stunt pilots, so it makes sense. But you know, as a silly California tourist, I don't know, I just like Carolina Cobras, plus the alliteration. That was a better name, in my opinion. So that is my opinion on my favorite boomerang that I have ever ridden. Have you ridden a boomerang with the vest restraints? I have not been to Hershey Park yet, so I have not been on Jolly Rancher Remix, but that also looks like one of the best boomerangs out there. Probably a little bit better than this one because of the extra theming. But I was still very impressed with Flying Cobras. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like the video. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this roller coaster or any other boomerang that you have ridden. And of course, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I am pushing for 10,000 subscribers, so I would greatly appreciate your support. Thank you so much, and I will catch you later.